Hello, good evening. Thanks. Let's see who we on. We're on Facebook and we're on YouTube live. All right. Good evening, everybody. From your guy, you know who I am, Kevin Cummings. Welcome again to my Scale Higher broadcast podcast. Scale Higher. This platform, um, this platform is really again to help you get from one level to the next, What categories are important to you? What categories do you find most intriguing? We deal in the space of relationship, in the space of career, in the space of health, and also spirituality. Where are you in your life now? Where do you need some value to be added? We are human beings and we are all men of like passions. As human beings, we deal with some of the same type of things quite often, whether it be, again, under health, relationships, um, finance, as it relates to um, career changes, starting that business. This particular podcast will help you get to the next level. Now, this podcast is not like a lot of others in that I don't talk to you over your head. I deal with you where you are, and everybody's on different levels. And I think the challenge for people like me who have an online presence, a massive online presence, people like me, they tend to talk over people's heads. They tend to assume where a person is. Everybody has a different starting point. This thing we call life is a journey. It is a journey. Say that with me. It's a journey. Um, it's not necessarily a race in that who finishes first. It's enjoying the journey, but taking full advantage and harnessing the journey is where the secret sauce is. Have you ever tried something, it failed, tried something that failed, then you wanted to quit and give up? This thing called life is a marathon. It's a marathon, and I'm teaching people how to scale high. That's the name of my broadcast podcast. It's how to scale higher, how to get to the next level, right? And it's so important that we understand this concept because pretty much unless you've completely given up on life, you still have some aspirations, you still have some dreams that you want to see come to fruition, that you want to see come to pass. And I tell everybody that I meet, and I help a lot of people, I coach a lot of people, and I let them know that the first place that you have to kind of go back to and revert to is our childhood. Our childhood is where we should go back to, and I'm going to tell you why. In the school system in America, in the Western culture, that John D. Rockefeller kind of initiated, the parameters of our school system teaches us to read, write, and comprehend. And when little Johnny is looking out the window daydreaming at the end of the school day, the teacher will pen a little letter to little Johnny's his shirt, and so his mom can read the letter when she gets home. She opens the letter when little Johnny gets home, and she reads the letter that little Johnny's not paying attention. He's preoccupied. They use words like preoccupied. He's daydreaming. He's not focused. And then they talk about putting him on medication. Did you know that all of our wealth lies in our imagination? And our school systems, they do the best that they can, but let me say it this way: our school systems are not designed for us to succeed. Our school systems, the structure of it is designed for us to go to college, get a bit of school debt, and find a good paying job and be there for 30 years and retire and get pension. Well, that construct is over, guys. That construct is over. It's antiquated. We are in an entrepreneurial place, an entrepreneur stage. People are excelling in their lives. They're climbing the corporate ladder. But most of our people are entrepreneurial. And the way to kind of reconstruct your life and to scale higher, you got to go back to your childhood. Start dreaming again. This is vital. Start dreaming again. If you're taking notes, just take notes, just simple notes. Get you some bullet points. I'm going to share with you. Go back to your childhood. Go back and reclaim your posture as a child. Daydream, dream. Imagination is where it all takes place. It's a God-given gift where if you have to see it in your mind's eye first. And so, as a believer, I believe in the Bible. There's a scripture there that says we should have childlike faith. childlike behavior. And I believe that daydreaming is where it starts. Creating visions in your mind, imagination. Now look at that word imagination. Look at the nucleus of that word is image. Imagination, image. We need to have an image in our minds of where we want to go and that which we desire to obtain. So keep that in your mind. I want you to put that in your heart and in your spirit, that you got to go back and start imagining again, because nothing happens in front of imagination. Nothing precedes imagination. That's where the imagery comes into play. That's where you see it come to play. And once you can see it, now you can plan on how to get there. But you got to be able to see it. And this has to be an everyday thing. This is a thought exercise, guys. This is a thought exercise where you make yourself practice and rehearsing those thoughts concerning your image. Create thoughts, create scenarios, seeing yourself in the future, seeing yourself already has accomplished it. And again, this particular stream is for people who need it at a grassroots level. Like you need it to be explained to you like you're a 4-year-old, right? And this is where God has gifted me in, is helping people to get from one space to the next space. And if they stay locked in with my community, they continue to make greater steps. And I like to give this again in a bullet point fashion where we start with imagination. Now I'm going to repeat myself a lot, not that I'm slow, but it is the power of repetition that would get into your mind, your soul, your spirit, that you will grab a hold to it, right? So again, this word imagination, as it relates to scaling higher, this is the nucleus. This is the genesis for reshaping your life, for reconstructing your life. You, ma'am, you, sir, are in the driver's seat. Don't let certain circumstances dictate to you. You create your circumstance. And if you have no vision of that which you desire, that is a sure way to not to experience it. I'll say it again. If you don't have an image in your mind of what you want your life to look like in every area, then you'll be running through life aimlessly. Nothing will happen for you. Why? Again, everything happens with vision. Where there's no vision, people perish, people die, people lose money when there's no vision. There has to be a vision, and it starts with our God-given gift that everybody possesses. It starts in our imagination, starting to imagine and have an image of what you want to have. Now, and once you get that, we can compartmentalize it. We can talk about relationships. I get a lot of feedback, a lot of questions. I tend to help a lot of women in the space of, why don't I have a man? Why do I continue to attract the wrong man? Well, you got to sometimes, it's a football term, sometimes you have to stop everything you've been doing, take some inventory, right? And you have to back up and putt. You got to start over again. You got to reshape the image of what you desire in a mate or in a man. And when you get that image in your mind, then you have to take inventory of that image. You have to learn to be critical of your image. What do I mean by being critical of my image? What I mean is you have to have something in your mind as it relates to a mate. If we're talking about relationship, you have to have that thing in mind to where it's reasonable, it's fair, and it's not out of this world, right? Nobody gets it all. But the premise, if you want somebody who is honest, you want somebody who would treat you right, and if that's your image of a mate, then here's how you criticize that image. Here's how you become critical of the image. The way you become critical of the image is make sure you are already that which you are imagining. Wow, that's good. That's good. I'll say it again. Make sure that you are already that which you are imagining, especially as it relates to relationships. Everything you want in a person, make sure you are already that. How you want that person to treat you, make sure you're already that. It's a very powerful principle, because now if we get into the law of physics and things of that nature, or get into vibration, or again, I'm a man of faith. You attract that which you believe. And so, and what you believe is what you are. And so sometimes, not in every case, we attract the wrong type of people because something in us is still not quite together. Now that's a tough pill to swallow, and I know it is. But if you want to scale higher, if you want to go higher in relationships, and I'm just using relationship as an example, I'll come back with some more videos about relationship. You got to take inventory of where you are. Are you a good fit for somebody, and can you meet somebody else's needs? Are you the criteria? You got to become the criteria of that which you desire somebody else to be. Man, this is good information. You got to become the criteria of which you want to attract. See, when you're trying to obtain a mate, or those who want to be married, looking for companionship, you got to think they need to be as happy as you are. They're not there to serve your life and to serve just your agenda. You need to be prepared that if the good Lord blesses you, or when the good Lord blesses you with a person or a mate, that you're ready to pour into them. See, this thing is a symbiotic relationship. What are you prepared to give the person that you're imagining in your mind? See, this is where it gets a little shifty. A lot of people can imagine, they can tell you the kind of man that they want. Now, again, I'm just using women as a point of reference, but it's for both sexes, right? A lot of people can imagine and tell you how they want them to look, how they want them to act, what kind of money they want them to make, how they want to be treated by that person. But a lot of people cannot articulate, here it is, cannot articulate that which they're ready to pour into somebody else. And especially if you're ready to receive that person and you're ready to be married and to go into a relationship, you have to be ready to be to them what you want them to be to you. And this breeds the success of relationship. This is how you scale higher in the area of your relationship. Again, let me go back over the points real quick. All right. You got to go back and to your childlike nature and start gazing out the window, daydreaming, imagining that which you desire. Let me move over a little bit, and I can come back to relationship if y'all need me to. Based on your comments, just let me know what you want me to talk about a little more. But let's move on even to career. It's very tough for some people to pivot. I've had to do that in my own personal life. My background is first of all, I was in music production. I traveled the whole world doing music, making records, making albums, writing music. And then I was on the performance side of music, on tours all over the world. And then I transitioned from that space into sales. And sales is kind of what I would believe is my final stop. And in the middle of my life as a working adult, as a husband and as a father, as a sole provider, I had the courage to basically start over, reimagining what my future looked like. I wasn't happy with where my life was at the time, especially in terms of vocation. I wasn't happy with what my career at the time was giving me. So I got into the field of sales. And one of the most amazing books I've ever read, and I suggest you pick up the book, is Who Moved My Cheese. I think it's by Dr. Steven Johnson. Who Moved My Cheese. It taught me how to pivot. If I wanted to change, it taught me how to pivot to make that change. And it takes a certain element of faith and courage to start something completely new. It takes faith and courage to start something completely new. But I tell people all the time, you have to decide, do you prefer, right? Watch this. Do you prefer familiarity, familiar bondage? Do you prefer familiar bondage, or do you prefer foreign freedom? See, I'm gonna look you right in the eyes at this point, because this is real talk. This is where scaling higher comes into play. This is where all the magic takes place. This is where the decision takes place. You have to decide, do you prefer familiar bondage or foreign freedom? That's a big, huge statement. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the corridor that you must pass through to scale higher. Do you prefer familiar bondage or foreign freedom? See, the blessing and the wealth and the happiness and peace is on the side of foreign freedom. But a lot of us, because we don't have all the answers and don't have all the pieces, we're afraid to go after foreign freedom. You have to deal with the foreign before you get the freedom. It's a new space. How do you scale higher? Making a choice to start imagining yourself in a whole new space and being able to move in faith, move in courage, and to make the first move and start in that direction. That's it, that word is called pivot. Can you make the pivot into foreign freedom? Or will you, and I've been here before, or will you continue to circle about, roundabout, in rotation in a cycle with excuses, complaining, and worry that keeps you in a land called familiar bondage? What you've been doing has not worked. What you've been doing in any area of your life, if you need to scale higher, you need to be honest with yourself and say, hey, what I've been doing has not worked. What I've been doing is familiar to me, but the familiarity brings bondage. It's not allowing me to grow. It's not giving me peace. It's not giving me happiness. It's not allowing me to live my dreams. We have to learn to pivot. Pivot where? Towards foreign freedom. And be willing to open our minds and our hearts through our imagination to the possibilities of what can be new. I know, I can tell you now, this right here is not working. Do you agree with me? This right here is not working. It's not bringing me results. See, activity, all activity is not good activity. You need activity that is channeled in the right direction. That's where you need it. You need it in that direction. You need this to be channeled in the right direction. Folks, I don't have long today, but this is a very powerful podcast episode that I want you to really watch at least 2 or 3 times over, because before we go deeper, you got to land yourself on this. You got to accept that this is a principle that will allow you to scale higher in any area of your life that needs scaling. You have to become sick and tired of being sick and tired. But some people are in this life, they have accepted their sickness. They've accepted their being tired. They've accepted it. And they remain in the land of familiar bondage. You got to kind of break out of that and get your mind together, see yourself a new picture, build a new picture in your imagination, build yourself a new image of yourself, and then pivot where? To foreign freedom. That's what takes place. That puts you on the journey to success, peace, happiness, and health. These principles are applicable to every part of the human life. There have been many books. I have some of my books in my library back here. Some are in my drawers. It's taken many books and reading for me to reshape my thinking. Again, I refer things back to the Bible. Says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But more importantly, you got to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You got to learn how to put new information in. If you watch the same type of stuff every day, you read the same type of stuff every day, if you listen to the same type of stuff every day, that is feeding your present, that is feeding your familiarity. And familiarity breeds contempt. Contempt breeds bondage. So it's one of those things to where you don't have a GPS system. You don't have a signal on your phone, and you're traveling. And as you're traveling, the more you travel, you notice you don't feel good about where you're headed. And you'd be surprised at the human nature. Sometimes we're so stubborn, we'll keep driving the wrong direction, hoping that we'll find somebody to show us our way, instead of doing a 180, turning around and going a different direction. If where we're going now, where you're going right now, is not yielding signs that you're in the right direction, you need to do a 180. This is simple things that we can do. I teach a lesson on small inputs, and I'll do another podcast about that later. It's small inputs, small corrections is what steers the ship. The rudder on the ship is one of the smallest pieces on the ship. But whatever way that rudder turns, that big cruise ship is going to turn. Small corrections would turn and change your entire life. It doesn't have to be big, huge decisions, but doing something small and something different will yield you a different result. That's the blessing. That's the fun part. But we'd be surprised at how much the human body, as relates to the human mind, loves familiarity. And anything that's not familiar, your own psyche, your own paradigm, your own subconscious will fight hard against you from changing that. But again, that's having the courage, the ability, the knowledge to pivot, right? Put new information in so it transforms your mind. Put new information in so it transforms your mind. And as your mind transforms, keep recreating images in your imagination. And when you get that focus, when it gets that, okay, this is what I want to be. This is my next career change. Here's how I want my life to go. Here's my new vocation. I want to become an entrepreneur. What does that look like? You know, you understand? I want to lose some weight. Well, how much weight do you want to lose, and how do you want to look specifically? Like being more detailed as we build these images in our mind will bring massive results. This information that I'm sharing took me many years to obtain through books and reading and audio books and all kinds of stuff. I would do every single solitary day, and it brought me to this point where I can share all of this with you, literally in a matter of minutes. That if you act on this, this is one of the things, ladies and gentlemen, that you will see the difference in literally within days. You see your life moving and shifting. Why? It's a powerful principle. Small corrections, small inputs. I'll share this and I'll end the podcast because I've given you literally millions of dollars worth of information. This information is the corridor and the portal by which people walk through and they become very successful. But I'm a part of the aviation community. I'm heavily in aviation. I'm working on getting my private pilot's license. And one thing I've learned with aviation and the law of physics, but in aviation in particular, that when you see a plane going over your head and it like he's flying straight, or if you ever been on a flight, he's flying straight. What's really happening is the yoke is going back and forth with small corrections. Not drastic corrections, but small movements is what keeps that plane at level flight. By the time the yoke turns to the right and the right aileron is affected, by the time that happens, that the yoke has gone back to the left aileron, and by the time that gets the message, it's canceling out the other, which causes level flight. You want your life to become level and no more topsy-turvy ups and downs. Continue to every day make small corrections, small inputs in the direction that you see fit in any area of your life. You want to be a better mate. You want to be a better wife. You want to be a better girlfriend as relates to relationships. You should be making the small corrections on your end, not necessarily demanding it from the other person. Because unbeknownst to you, you don't have power over that person. That person only has the power over themselves, and God has the power over that person. But for that person to change, they have to recognize they need to change, and they have to ask God to help them change. There's nothing in you that can help somebody per se change. All you can do is give information, encouragement, or pray for them, whatever it is. So when you understand the value of small inputs, the value of small corrections, it is a law of physics. It's how planes stay in the air. It's very small corrections. And every now and then on that plane, you'll feel a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But ultimately, you have level flight. You're not doing this, not up and down. You don't want all the turbulence, right? So to come against that, you have to make small corrections. Even on autopilot, the plane has enough intel to know that the small corrections. If you go in the cockpit of the plane and see the yokes on either side, you see them moving. Very, very small movements. And it's a law of physics. Make minor adjustments to your life. Scale higher. I'm in your corner. I want you to leave me some comments. Leave me some comments. I want to reach out to you and talk to you personally. I talked to all of my subscribers, and I forgot to ask you in the beginning, but y'all been on YouTube enough to know. Listen, y'all been on Facebook enough to know. Hit like, share, and subscribe so that when I go live and I post another video that will help you scale higher, you'll be aware of it. But I'm really more interested in you leaving me comments. I want you to leave me some comments and let me know what you think, and not just comments, but leave your questions. Let's engage. I try to take all the time that I can, at least once a day, and go through my comments and reach back out to you to have a quick conversation. If there's something I can help you with or something I can bring value to, then I'm willing to do that. That's the space of this particular podcast, is scaling higher. Scale higher. Kevin Cummings. You follow me? All right. Reach out to me. Like, share. Do that now. All right. Subscribe. I had another channel that I had to change, and we've had to start over with this channel. We have a lot of followers who are still coming over. But go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit like. Go ahead, hit share, and become one of my subscribers so we can scale higher together. This information I'm giving you is priceless. I'm giving you condensed information that took me years to obtain, to share with you. And everybody who has come in contact with my platform, everybody have seen massive value added to their life in one shape or another. Scale higher. Don't forget, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe, because I want to make sure you have that which you need moving forward. All right. Relationship, career, faith, spirituality, health, all those things. On this particular podcast, on this platform, we teach how to scale higher. I'm your guy, Kevin Cummings. Hit me up in the comments. Let's scale higher together. Be blessed. Have a good one.